Hello, this is part 7. Can't believe it's part 7 already, how time flies, of creating a 2D platformer in Unity. Today we are going to look at creating our idle animations working, as well as our walk or run, depending what you have and what assets you've downloaded. If you are going to continue this course, ensure that you have a death animation, attack animation, jump, walk and idle. They're the essential ones. Today we're going to look at doing transitions between idle and run animations using the animation and animator tabs, and also scripting those in, and also creating a brand new script for just our movement as well, so it just makes things a lot easier to follow along to. Okay, so first of all, the last thing we did in the last video was optimize our jump to make things a lot easier, which was working out nicely. But one thing we do have is, oh, that's okay, I've just realized I've already jumped the gun. That's fine. So as you can see, I have already added a speed variable. So what I'm going to do is actually quickly delete that and just quickly do those bits again and show you what to do. As you can see, it's totally, let's just take those bits off. I'm way out of play mode yet. I can't even see it. Horizontal, cool. And let's just get rid of that. Okay, so what we're going to do is quickly add a speed variable. Just pretend I didn't have my initial speed variable there. What we're going to do first is make sure it is a serialized field. There we go, so we can see it within our inspector. We're then going to say private float and call this underscore speed equal to 5f. So whatever we do, what we do with our movement. So at the moment, the bog standard project settings or input settings will make everything move at 1. So if we add speed, which is equivalent to 5f, if you do 1 times 5 equals 5, so we have our 5 speed. So we are going to add our speed variable to our movement here, which is controlled obviously by our velocity within our rigid body at a new vector 2. So as you can see, or as you saw before, horizontal input is then going to be times by underscore speed. So once we have that, we will be able to move a lot more smoothly with our speed, and we won't have to keep going into our script. And there it is, speed at 5, and we can change this how we see fit. So 5.29, and we can press play, and we should have some nice smooth, maybe even a little bit quick, but there we go. Got some nice smooth movement in there. Cool, lovely. So I'm just going to send that back to 5. Fantastic. Okay, so the next important part is looking at our animations. So what we need to do is, firstly, let's open up our animation tab. So if we go to Window, Animation and Animation, this will open up our animation tab. And I'm going to drag this just to under here, right next to our animator. Okay, so the next thing we need to do is create an animation of our sprites together. So what we need to do is, as you saw when we put all of this together before, we had our player, and then in our child was our sprite. We're going to keep this the same. We're going to keep all of our scripts in here, and rigid body and everything like that, and our colliders all in there. All the technical mumbo jumbo can stay in player. Everything to do with animations and sprites can go into sprites. So what we're going to do is click on the sprite, and as you can see on the animation tab, it says to begin animating a sprite, create an animator and an animation clip. Okie dokie. So what we're going to do, click create. This will open up into our assets. If we click on sprites, we can see we've got our night and our tile map. What have we got in night actually? Okay, this may be some Okay, I might just make a new. We want a new animation. Well, actually, yeah, we're going to create a folder. So what we're going to do in sprites, we can create a new folder and call this animations. Love some folder organization ID. And then what we're going to do is call this new animation an idle, and then click save. There we go. So we should have sprites, and then you can see animations in there. Okay, so what we're going to do is find our idle animations. So we double click there, and there we go. We have our idle animations here, as we can see. 1, 2, 3, and oh no, so 0, 1, 2, and 3. And so what I'm going to do is hold Command or Control on PC and select. I might do it in order just in case. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And as you can see, Unity understands that I've selected all 4 of these sprites. Okay, that's great. So next thing I'm going to do is go to my idle animation or my animation tab where it says now idle, and click the record button. And what I can do is grab all 4 of these and drag them in to my animation tab just like that. And as you can see, it's recorded all 4 of the keyframes that I've added. And remember just to stop recording once you've done that. So what I should be able to do is press play and have a interesting idle animation. As you can see, this is going at 60 frames per second. That's quite a lot. And as you can see, samples here says 60. I'm going to change that down to, let's stop it initially, and let's change that down to 30. Enter, and then press play. Okay, still a bit quick, so let's try 15. Play those out. Still a bit quick, so I'm going to try. Let's try 7. Enter. Play. Still can seem a bit quick. So let's try and find. Let's try what's half of 7. Let's try 4 because it's in 4 frames a second. Press enter. This may work out. So there we go. So yeah, that's all right. I'm happy with that. So we have an idle animation, and that's essentially how you put animations together. Cool, fantastic. So once we've done that, we need to put together another animation to transition together. So because I've clicked on sprite, and I'm just going to make sure we can't see that at the moment. Okay, alright, let's click on animator. And there we go. You can see that already, because as soon as you create animation or brand new animation, it creates an animator if your sprite already hasn't got it. So there it is. And I don't know why we can't click and show that. We'll have a look at that in a second. Let's just see if this plays with our animator. Oh, okay, there we go. So it's playing through in the game. So that's better than nothing. Can we move? Yes, we can. That's cool. Okay, so happy about that. What we're going to do next is create another animation. So what do we have? We have a block, we have a death, and we have a walk. Fantastic. And what I'm going to have to do is cut these up. So what I'm going to quickly do is let's just quickly create a new clip. And in animations, as you can see, we've got our sprite controller and our idle animations. I'm just going to quickly create, what's this one? Walk. Call this one walk and click save. Lovely jubbly. And let's just click on walk, and if we click on them there, come on in, what's going Why can't we cut you up? I want to cut you up. There we go. So we're going to do as we did before with our idle animations. I'm not sure if we cut those up before. I can't remember. And go to sprite mode, multiple. I can't even remember what size these were. It was such a long time ago. And then we can go to apply. And then what we're going to do is click sprite editor. There we go. Hopefully we can go to automatic and click slice. Awesome, that looks good. And then click apply. Fantastic. Brilliant. That has saved us a job, that has. And then so what I'm going to do is then repeat the processes and grab all of these walk animations like so. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So maybe 8 frames per second. Oh, actually, is that the right one? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I just didn't grab that one. Cool, lovely. So like just before, like again, with all these 8 animation sprites, I'm going to click record and drag all of these guys in. There we go. So I then have my walk animation. I think I changed that to 4 before. So do this as 8 frames, enter, press, let's unrecord that and press play. Nice, that's looking good. I'm happy with that. Cool. Looks like he's got a bit of a mean streak in him. Lovely jubbly. Okay, so with that, if we go to Animator, we then should have our walk animation and our idle animation. And so we need to start thinking about adding transitions for these together. So if you've never seen the Animator tab or Animation tab before, do not worry. You've just mastered the Animation tab, and now we're going on to the Animator tab. And as you can see, this holds our animations and allows us to do transitions between them. So what we need to do is firstly, we're going to create a transition between idle and walk. Okay. So we're going to right click, go to make transition, and click that there. Okay. Fantastic. And then obviously, if you think logically, well, we can go from idle, so we can go from standing still to walking. We can do vice versa. So we can go from walking to idle. So we make that transition there as well. Once we've done that, what we can do is click on these transitions, and you can see that's odd that it was in a 3D frame there. That's cool. And then you can preview these animations moving together. So from idle to walking, and then vice versa, from walking to idle. Lovely. Cool. But there's nothing in between at the moment. The word for it is parameter to kind of say, okay, this is what's going to make us move from idle to walk, or from walk to idle. So what we need to do is go to parameters on this button over here, and then we're going to click the plus sign and create a float parameter. Cool. And simple enough, we want to be able to move, so let's just call this move. Cool, lovely. And at the moment, we're going to leave that there just like that. Okay, so again, the float parameter works exactly like a float. It's going to transition between a decimal place from, let's say 0 to 0.1 to then start the transition of walking. Okay, so a little bit different if you're looking at the third-person controller before in previous videos. This is a little bit different. So what we're going to do is from idle to walk, we're going to concentrate on that one first. So what we need to do is under the inspector, we need to have a look at our conditions. At the moment, we have no conditions. As soon as we click that plus, move will automatically pop into there, because it's the only condition that we've created at the moment. And what we have is, it's just because it's crushed all my bits and bobs together, no, it doesn't matter, whatever he does, we can see that the condition of move is greater than 0 from idle to walk. Well, technically, yes, this is 100% correct. If we go from walking, we are creating movement, haven't we? We're going to 1 just with our horizontal input, or with our speed, we're going to 5. So anything greater than 0, so move being greater than 0, will then create our walking. Fantastic, that's brilliant. That's something we can script in. So with our walk to idle transition, it's a little bit different, and we have to use mathf within our script to sort this out. But that's fine, we can sort that out. So again, we're going to click the plus, and this time again it'll go to automatic default of move is greater than 0. Well, we don't want that, do we? So what we want is move less than something for our left walking. But we're going back to idle, which is the important thing, and there isn't a equal to 0. So what we can do is we can change move to less than 0.1. Okay. And then we can script in how we're going to walk the other way as well. Okay. Cool. So once we've done that, let's go back to here, back to our assets, open up our scripts folder. And within our scripts folder, we're going to create a brand new C# script. So go to C# script, and we can call this player animation. You may have seen, I've done videos before where I've just gone into the player script and implemented that animation. It can get loads confusing, especially after that jump malarkey that we were doing in the previous video. I think it would be easier just to call up the player script, implement it into the player animation script, and easier for you to understand, and also easier for me to come back to if you want to create, when you want to do the jump, attack, and death animations and things like that. Makes the whole process a lot easier to handle. Okay, so let's go into player animation. Well, that is lovely and quick. Cool. So what we need to do is, first of all, we need to establish our player handle. Okay, so we need to grab our animator from Unity. So if we go private, and if you start typing it in, it should pop up. Oh no, he doesn't want to talk to me today. That's always a good start. That's interesting. Oh, there it goes. There it finally pops up. Okay, let's try that again. So private animator. Okay, that's interesting. And why did that do that? Why does that not want to work for me today? Okay, this does it. Okay, so private. Okay, that's helpful. Private. Oh, dear me, one of those days. And then animator's popping up. Helpful. I don't know why that's doing that. Let's just say handle for animator, and then under that, right, private. Right, private properly. There we go. That's working. Animator. Hello. Doesn't want to seem to work today. Okay, so if this happens, what we can do is just quickly close our script, don't save, go back here and just give that another boot. So we want our handle, please. Private, there we go. Animator, there we go, it's all kicking in now. And we can call this underscore anim. I think I called it in a previous video. That's fine. We've called that up, and so what we need to do is assign anim to our animator component. So if we say underscore anim is equal to get component, or actually we've put that in a child, haven't we? So we have to say in children, get component in children, there it is. and then we call that animator. So the in children thing is essentially our animator isn't just in a standard. Let's have a look at this. Isn't just here as it isn't here. Our sprite is actually within. It's been a child to the player. Okay, so you need to call that up, otherwise it will not be able to find it. But there we go. That's fine. That's working all nice and lovely. And then what we can do is we don't need, or this might need it later on in a couple of videos. So we'll just leave void update there for now. And what we're going to do is create our own method called public void, and we're just going to call this move because that's essentially what we want to do. And go and what is this? Animator on move? No. Public move, yes, lovely, cool. And then what we need to, if we remember, the move we want to call up, if we have a look at our animator, is our float move. So what we can do is within here, in these brackets, write float move. Did we do capital M? We did do a capital M. So let's just do that just in case that calls up the right thing. Yeah, cool. I think so. Should we call up the other player script yet? No, we don't need to yet. Okay. Actually, should I call that something else? Let's try. Let's see how that goes. I'm not sure if that move and that move will fight each other, but they shouldn't do because that's float move. Anyway, so the way we call this up is _anim, and what we're going to do is .set float because that's what our move is. We're then going to call up our move. There it is, and then we can say comma math f, which will help us, and well, math f abs will help us establish the movement on the left side as well. So essentially what that is doing is saying, hey, what we've got going on the right, we want going on the left movement as well. And then we can do our, I don't know if that's the right move. Oh, that is the right move. Cool. Lovely. Set float is not overloaded of set float. It takes one argument. Oh yeah, because it doesn't need the bracket. And then that needs a bracket at the end. Lovely. I might just gonna just for safe sake, we're gonna put those as lowercase m's just in case we have any trouble or crossover with that. Okay, so what we're gonna do, I think that is pretty much done for that. So what we're saying, we've called up our animator. We have then gone to anim get component in child because our sprite is within the child in our hierarchy. Oh, it's just saving that script. Interesting. And then we've created our own public void method for move and indicated our move float down here as well. So we've encapsulated this as well. I'm now worried about that M because I've had some problems with that before. We might have to change that around. And then anim.setFloat is move. I'm actually going to change that back to a capital M. I think we're going to have some problems with that. So I'm just going to stick with that. Lovely, lovely. Mathsfs.abs essentially just flips what we want to do movement-wise, not actually flipping the sprite. We'll have to have a look at that in future videos. So what we need to do now is call up our animation script, our player animation script within our player script. So what we're going to do is go and write private player animation. There it is, player animation script. And what we can do is that is going to be known as play anim. There we go. And once we've done that, we can call this up in our void start as well, which will be called underscore underscore play anim equal to get component, and that obviously the component we're grabbing is the player animation script. There it is. Encapsulate that off. There we go. So what we need to do is now input. This is the most important part. Input our movement and the animation into our movement itself. Okay, so what we need to do is look at our void movement, and at the moment we have our rigid body of dot velocity creating a new vector 2. At the start of the video, didn't we? We created this. So under this, we are going to say underscore play animation or play anim dot move, and then we can type in our horizontal input, because we want our animation to play when we move with a horizontal input, because this is the axis here is what we need to call up. Okay, so obviously we say play anim dot move because of move here. We'll talk to this, hopefully create our horizontal input, and hopefully we don't have any problems with our float move and our move there as well. So what we're going to do is save this script, save that script, and what I'm going to do is drag player animation over to player. So it should have the script onto it. There it is. Hasn't come up with any issues. We'll find out when we play the game. So if we zoom out a bit, give me a little bit of room, press play, big drum roll. Cool, I'm landing, I'm walking. There we go, I'm walking. Got it all working. Fantastic. If I stop. Cool, as you can see, there is a little bit of leeway there. So if I'm standing there and then I move, I slide along before I start walking. So what we can do is, if we have a look at our animation tab, or our animator, we can see that IDA was playing through. And when we move, if I can go onto this, when we move, I was just doing the cameras, that's annoying. Let's just quickly put animation tab or animator up to here and click on game. And so when I press play, I'm moving and then I stop. So, but there is a slight issue there where I'm walking just before I'm moving, just before I'm still moving in an idle pose, and that is because if we look at our transitions, we can see that I have has exit time. Well, you don't stop walking and then you don't stop standing and then go to walking, do you? So what we're going to do is uncheck has exit time on both of our transitions, and then what we can do is press play again and see if that sorts out our animations. Oh, that's a lot better. Oh, it's still a little bit slippy. So if it's still a tiny little bit slippy just like that, what we can do is go back to our transitions, go to settings, and it will drop down. Why is it not dropping down? There it is. And at the moment we have a transition duration of 0.25. Let's just change that to 0. Make that to 0. Also with our other transition, create that as 0, press enter, and what we should do is then press play, and we should be able to walk straight away. There we go. Cool, we just need to sort out flipping that animation, but we've got everything sorted. Cool, this video has gone nearly half an hour. I'm sorry for taking all your time, but obviously we've done lots in this video. Hope you've enjoyed it, and I will see you very, very soon.